What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Heroclix video. We are in part 3 of the Legacy card review. We're doing the Asgardians now. It's Beta Ray Bill, Valkyrie, and Thor and Loki. Let's call them the good guys. Let's start with the Beta Ray Bill figure from Hammer of Thor, the uncommon number 23. He is 125 points, down from 159. So that's a good start. 10 clicks, pretty good. Good keywords: Annihilators, Asgardian, Cosmic, Guardians of the Galaxy, Robot Warrior. He has Protecting Gamora. Beta Ray Bill has Guardians team ability. Beta Ray Bill can reduce penetrating damage and has Safeguard Poison. Keep in mind the Guardians team ability means they can't they can't modify your values down, opposing characters. So characters like Harry Leland gives you -2/-2. Exodus gives you -1, things like that. Or even Masters of Evil, Hydra PD, they won't be able to bring down your values. So if you're going to use a wild card or just have this team ability, it's a good way to counter those characters that are problematic, like Harry Leland. So you're not going to get the -2/-2. You can just go in there and boom, hit. Note also, in bronze, if you're going to play against Unseen, who gives -2 attack to Retaliators, if you have a Guardians team ability character that comes in for the retail, you're not going to get the -2. So little tip there. All right, let's move on here with Beta Ray Bill. He has Carbonite Resolve. Once per attack, when another friendly character within range and line of fire would be attacked, you may instead place Beta Ray Bill adjacent to the original target, and he becomes the target even if illegal. If you did, Beta Ray Bill can replace his defense value and use any standard defense powers with that of the original targeted character if they have the Guardians or Asgardian keyword. Okay, so he's basically like Captain Marvel from the Empire set, the Prime, just that, 75 points more. But he's not a Prime, so that is something. Note that he can use any standard defense powers. So if they have reflexes, deflection, even mastermind or super senses, he can use it in addition. So if they have a combination of those, he can use all of them on top of his impervious. He can reduce penetrating, so he can survive a big hit from Sky Tyrant because he can roll out of it with the imperv, or if he gets hit, he's only going to take like 1 or 2. Although he does get super senses in the middle and only toughness in the back, and then he loses it. So he kind of, if you get past those first 3 clicks, he kind of goes down. However, if he is defending, he'll get those defensive powers if they have it. This guy would be a good candidate to, if you're going to try him in bronze, to give him an entity, because he doesn't have any reducers in the back, and since his values are so low, the +1 value that the entity can give in bronze can give this guy a little bit more boost on top of having additional powers. He has Running Shot, Energy Explosion, 4 damage, 8 range. It's okay. It'd be better if he had either Precision Strike or Penetrating Attack, because that 4 damage with Energy Explosion, 4 damage is not that great, right? Unless he had multiple bolts and he's able to deal out all of his damage. If he had multiple bolts with 4 damage, he'd probably be better because he can split up the 4 damage how he wants. He gets a charge, and then he goes to Running Shot with Exploit. His values in the middle for attacks are not that good. So I think this guy's maybe a casual piece at best, unless you really want to use that Carbonite Resolve. But then if that's the case, then you just play Captain Marvel, right? Unless you really need to use that Prime. So yeah, it was a good idea what they tried to do with him, but I think even at 125 for 10 clicks, he might not make the cut, in my opinion. All right, moving on to Valkyrie, number 65, the super rare from Avengers Defenders War. She has 6 clicks for 50 points. She dropped from 75, so it's already another good start. Keywords: Asgardian Defenders, Asgardian Defenders, Guardians of the Galaxy, Warrior. Not bad. She ignores characters on movement. Pretty good. She has 2 traits. First one, as Guardians of the Galaxy, she has the Guardians team ability. Friendly characters that can use the Guardians team ability can also use Defenders. So kind of a crossover there. Definitely can use those to your advantage if you're building those teams together and they share keywords, because then they can all have defenders and they can all share defense basically. And then she has another trait, Aragorn Charge, Blades, Claws, Fangs, Knockback. Power, move in a direct path. After resolutions, make a close attack targeting an opposing character she moved through regardless of adjacency. So with her sidestep, and then she can move in position with her sidestep, and then she can power and then move in that direct path. What's cool about her little ability here is she can use blades with it, number one, but also because she has a duo base, she can position horizontally and move forward, so she can have a larger, so she basically has 2 squares to go through people instead of 1. That's what I'm saying. Gives her a little bit more versatility, more reach, I guess. And 10 moves, pretty far, especially with sidestep. The damage values are solid all the way through. If you want to use blades, use blades. She has Battle Fury in the back. 11, 10, 9, 10, 9. Those are her attack values. Not going to be the greatest if she gets hit, because and nowadays with everyone having 18 defenses, and even if they have 17 defenses, they're either going to have deflection or ESD. It's going to be a lot harder. And also the defenses stay higher now for longer. So she's probably decent because she's a 50 point that can do kind of like a full move charge. But keep this in mind, she's a flyer, so she can use that charge ability and carry someone. So she can move all the way through, make an attack, and then that person can, drop them off or whatever. So it's some kind of tactical moves. But note that she has sidestep and charge, so it's a move and attack the whole way through. Of course, she just has that Aragorn charge power, and then she has regular charge on the back. So it's kind of redundant, but I guess one, you have to move in a direct path, and the other one, she can just fly around. So she's probably a fringe piece, but I would like to see that ability go off, because that'll be kind of cool. All right, and then the last one, the one that I think everybody wanted in the beginning, because these guys are so cool. Thor and Loki, number 57, the super rare from Hammer of Thor. You can see they're now 250 points as opposed to 362. So now they're playable in 300 points, which is solid. 10 clicks, all special powers and a bunch of traits. All right, here we go. They have Avengers team ability, Cosmic Energy, solid, Mystics. So we're already good. Can't be outwitted, willpower, and then feedback damage. Destroy blocking, movement, targeting, improved targeting, elevated hindering. All right, we're already good. After you, brother. This is the trait. Impervious. Thor and Loki can use Cosmic Team movement. Okay, blah, blah. At the beginning of your turn, you may choose a bystander on this card. If you do, Thor and Loki can use that character's standard powers until you choose again. All right. So they have Thor and Loki as a bystander in the back. And if you choose Thor, he's going to have Charge, Quake, Close Combat Expert, and Combat Reflexes. So if you're on the top click and choosing that, he's charging with a 13 for 6 and 2 bolts, so he can split that up. The second one is probably going to be used a little bit more in the beginning until you get close combat. Is Loki. Running Shot, Pen Blast, Energy Shield Deflection, and Prob. Ooh, Prob. Pen Blast with a 12 attack, with a 10 range, ignoring elevated hindering and running shot. That's probably going to be using in the beginning. 2 bolts. And then, of course, when they get close, Thor will get in. Impervious as a trait means they're going to be, obviously if you get hit with like a bunch of exploit attacks, it's going to be a problem. I wish they kind of had they can reduce penetrating damage instead. Maybe they just had invulnerability and they just reduce penetrating. I think that might be a little bit better. But nonetheless, these are 2 solid options to choose from. And then the foot power that they have for 8 of the 10 clicks is I bring the hammer, you bring the glamour, sidestep mind control. So on top of having charge and running shot to choose from, they have sidestep. So they're actually moving an additional 2. So in the first couple of clicks, they're either moving 8 or 7. And then mind control, for what that's worth, 2 bolts, you probably want to hit. And then the attack power for the first 5 clicks is swinging a hammer doesn't solve everything, but it's quite handy. Energy, explosion, incapacitate. if Thor and Loki hit all targets of an attack this turn, Thor and Loki have free make an attack. That's huge. If you're choosing Pen Blast with their Energy Explosion double bolt with that 10 range, sidestep running shot, and ignoring elevated Henry, you can do quite a bit of damage on people. Keep in mind that they have to hit all the targets of an attack, then they can have the free make an attack. So maybe you don't want to use it all if they have a bunch of super senses, because that's a higher chance that they'll roll out of it. But if they do hit, you can make just a free attack, which means they can use their double bolt again with the Pen Blast and hit. Or if they're choosing Thor, they can just use the Close Combat Expert with 2 bolts on that free attack. So you're attacking quite a bit. So it's feeling a lot more like a tentpole. And then in the middle 4 clicks, they have defensive power, get behind me, you big oaf, super senses, barriers free, but only to generate 1 marker. So just more ways to protect themselves. And then on the back 6, on the damage power, it's no more running brother, outwit. When Thor and Loki use it, after resolutions, you may heal 1 click. So they have a little bit more survivability because they're going to be healing once they use their outwit. And remember, they ignore elevated hindering. When Thor and Loki are KO'd after resolutions, you may generate a Thor by-center and a Loki by-center adjacent to the square they last occupied, protected outwit, and pulse whip. So when they die, these 2 guys come up. You can see here, it's solid numbers all around, 10, 11, 18, 3 all the way through, and you already know, Loki has Majestix, Thor has Avengers, both have 6 range double bolt, one's close combat, one's range combat. What's cool about these guys is they're very, very versatile, because if they're playing like barrier team, they can just charge all the way through, because Thor and Loki have destroy blocking, and then sidestep and charge. It's 8 squares. After a TK, you're actually getting really far. The values are really solid, considering that this is an old figure. But keep in mind, this was 362 points, so they had to do something, right? Because if you look, it's 12 11s, 10s all the way through, and it goes back to 11 12 on the back. And then the defense 18 17 16 goes up to 17. So it's on par now. The damage is 5 4 3 and then 4 5. So it's high damage, high movement. Everything's high here, even the range. But at 250, there's not gonna, doesn't leave much for them to be supported, right? You might give them in bronze. You might try to give them an equipment or an entity. The keywords are good, right? Asgardian, Avengers, Cabal, Deity, Mystical Ruler, Warrior. It's just that you only have 50 points to fill that out. So they definitely can play like a tentpole, provided you hit with that attack power. I think in really high level competitive play, I feel like these guys are going to be used, except not the way you think. They will be used as sideline options for Jason Wingard. The 2 bystanders here, Thor and Loki, are top notch. This is like the best of the best that you can choose from, and there's 2 of them. So for 1 slot on your sideline, you have 2 solid bystanders to choose from for Jason Wingard. Making a these guys can deal heavy damage, and having Prob as a bystander to call out with Majestix that's really good for Jason Wingard. So definitely, I think you will see these guys just in the Jason Wingard sideline. But all right, well, that's what I got. I think these guys seem like a lot of fun to just try to play. Maybe in a multiplayer game or higher point game, you can definitely see how strong these guys can be, because they're going to be a lot more support for them. But these guys seem like a lot of fun nonetheless. I don't see Bill being played that much, and same with Valkyrie. She's kind of a fringe piece. 50 points is really good for the dial. It's just the values are kind of low. Of course, these guys, Thor and Loki, are really high. It's just they're a lot of points. So, all right, the next one will be the final 3 legacy guys. It's the 2 Colossals and the Chariot. I know those are the 3 that everybody kind of wanted until you saw the Chariot, and then it kind of went down a little bit. So I feel like the top 3 that people are going to want are the 2 Colossals and Thor and Loki. But personally, I would like to play the Wrecking Crew, because they seem like a lot of fun, because I like the WW figures. But all right, well, that's until next time. See ya.